Hi everybody, I'm Danielle and welcome back to my channel. I am a registered psychotherapist who specializes in cognitive behavior therapy. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you about mindfulness, what it is, primarily with an emphasis on being non-judgmental about how you're feeling and about your thoughts. And I'm hoping for the next few videos that I do, I'm going to be doing a series of mindfulness type videos, talking to you a little bit about some misconceptions about mindfulness, as well as some tools that you can use to become a more mindful individual. So in today's video, I will be sharing with you about mindfulness. So the idea behind mindfulness, basically all it is you want to be able to look at your emotions, look at your feelings, your thoughts in a non-judgmental way, without necessarily doing anything about them, without necessarily analyzing them. At the beginning of this video, I emphasized being non-judgmental when it comes to observing your emotions and your thoughts. And this is because it is so common for people to evaluate how you're feeling, to evaluate your emotions as either good or bad, right? And the problem with this is that it shifts our attitude towards something, and it can actually make the problem worse. It can actually create some anxiety within us if we decide to evaluate our emotions. So allow me to illustrate this a little bit. Okay, so let's say you have a meeting coming up with somebody you've never really met before, but you have been told by somebody else that this person is essentially a terrible human being. They're harsh, they're rude, whatever it is. How do you think you're going to feel before going to meet that person? It's likely that you're going to kind of feel maybe anxious, maybe angry, possibly frustrated that you have to go meet this person. And what's that going to do to your attitude and your behavior toward them? Who knows, right? You might end up acting differently. The idea here is that what you are perceiving already about this person, the judgment that you have already made about this person, is going to influence how you behave toward them. So let's flip this around a little bit. What if you had to go meet this person and you had no idea what this person was like, nobody has told you what they were like, so you go into the situation not having any preconceived judgments? How are you likely to feel? You might feel a little bit anxious if you have a bit of social anxiety, and that's okay, that's totally understandable. But you're less likely to feel anger. You're less likely to feel frustrated, right? So you'll likely be kinder to them because your attitude toward them is different, because your judgment about them is different. This is also true of our emotions. If we start labeling our emotions as good or bad, it's going to change our attitude toward them, and it's going to subsequently change how we feel and likely how we respond to them. Now, if we are looking at an emotion that we see as negative, if we're sitting at home one day and we feel sad or we feel anxious, and we label that as bad, over time, we are going to condition our mind to say that every time we feel a negative emotion or try to get rid of a negative emotion, there is some sort of threat. So what happens to us when we sense a threat? It triggers our fight or flight system to become activated. And it is going to make us feel even more anxious. So that minor judgment of how you are feeling is going to subsequently shift how you feel. So the idea behind mindfulness is to stop trying to change your emotions or get rid of them, and instead let it be. One of the misconceptions about mindfulness is that it's meant to minimize your suffering. But instead, what it's actually meant to do is to help you learn how to accept and embrace your experiences long enough so that you can make a more positive choice into what your behavior is going to be, rather than becoming impulsive. So like at the beginning of this video, instead of eating that Ben & Jerry's ice cream every time you're feeling low or every time you're feeling sad or anxious, be willing to embrace how you're feeling long enough to decide if really that's what you want to do, or maybe there's another behavior that you can engage in. instead. Be willing to observe your discomfort and decide if there's something better that you can do. In my next video, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about misconceptions. And if you're interested in learning more about those, feel free to stay tuned to that. I thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe and give it a thumbs up if it's something that you are interested in. Until next time, take good care.